Be careful. There is an enemy inside your house and a woman is helping to. My beloved child, the night around you feels ordinary, but listen closely, because nothing about this moment is ordinary. A quiet room, a familiar hallway, the soft hum of the ceiling fan, everything seems calm on the surface, yet beneath that calm, there is a pulse of mystery rising like a hidden tide. The story you are about to hear is not just a story, it is a revelation wrapped inside shadows, a truth that whispers in corners where light rarely reaches. Even in the most trusted spaces, there are secrets we overlook, signs we ignore, and patterns we dismiss as coincidence. Tonight, every breath of air feels as if it is carrying a message meant only for you, and every silent movement inside your home feels like a signal from something unseen, something that has been watching, waiting, learning. Stay present, stay aware, because each second unfolds a bigger truth, and the truth is far more surprising than you could ever imagine. This is not fear, this is awareness, the kind that opens your eyes to details you never noticed before, the kind that transforms ordinary walls into storytellers of long-kept mysteries. In every home, there are unspoken stories, relationships layered with emotions, conversations that never reached the surface, and glances that carried hidden meanings. Somewhere between trust and doubt, between comfort and curiosity, a subtle change begins. You start to feel it in the way footsteps sound softer than usual, in the way a door takes a little longer to close, in the way someone's voice carries a strange hesitance mid-sentence. There is a presence that feels familiar yet distant, close yet concealed, as if someone you know is wearing a mask made of silence. And beside that unseen figure, there is a woman, calm, composed, gentle on the outside, yet her eyes hold a story that refuses to reveal itself. She moves carefully, as if every step is rehearsed, as if every gesture is part of something larger, something quiet yet powerful. She smiles when needed, speaks when required, and blends into every moment effortlessly, but behind that grace lies intention, subtle, measured, unspoken. This is not chaos, not drama, it is quiet suspense, the kind that grows stronger with every heartbeat. The atmosphere shifts slowly, like clouds gathering before a storm you cannot see yet sense deeply. The house carries memories in its walls, laughter, tears, promises, and forgotten whispers, and within those memories, something begins to rearrange itself. You notice how certain conversations stop when you enter the room, how certain messages are exchanged in hidden corners, how certain expressions last a second longer than they should. It feels as if threads are being woven behind your back, threads made of secrecy and caution. And the woman, the one who seems harmless, supportive, warm, stands at the center of those threads, quietly connecting them, gently guiding them, as if she knows exactly what is unfolding. There is no chaos in her actions, only precision. She does not raise suspicion, instead, she blends into the ordinary, becoming part of the rhythm of the house, part of its everyday moments. Yet deep within, you sense that her presence carries a purpose wrapped in silence, a purpose waiting for the right moment to reveal itself. The strangest part is not what is happening, but how unseen it feels, how carefully hidden it remains behind gestures of care and acts of kindness. You begin to realize that sometimes, the most surprising revelations do not arrive with noise, they arrive with softness. They arrive through familiar voices, through trusted hands, through people who never appear suspicious. And that is where the true suspense lies, in discovering that what feels safe can also hold secrets, that what feels supportive can sometimes guide something unknown. The house remains calm, the lights continue to glow, and conversations flow as usual, yet beneath every moment lies a quiet sense that something bigger is standing just beyond the edge of awareness, waiting to step forward. You are not meant to fear, you are meant to awaken, to observe, to recognize that every detail has meaning, and every silence carries a message. And as this moment unfolds, you stand at the threshold of a revelation that feels both shocking and inevitable, a realization that the biggest mysteries are not outside, but inside the spaces we trust the most. The story does not rush, it holds you, breath by breath, guiding you through layers of truth that are slowly coming into focus. The presence inside your home is not loud, not obvious, not dramatic, it is quiet, strategic, almost invisible, and that is what makes it so powerful. The woman who appears supportive may be guiding something unseen, something carefully moving through the silence of your house. And as the night deepens, the air grows thicker with anticipation, as if every second is preparing you for a moment that will change how you see everything around you. The journey has only just begun, and what lies ahead is deeper, more surprising, and far more revealing than you could ever imagine. My beloved child, another layer of truth quietly unfolds, like a curtain being lifted from a window you never realized was covered. The atmosphere inside your home feels different now, not louder, not darker, but more aware, as if every corner has found a voice, as if every silent object has begun to remember. The walls that once felt ordinary now seem to hold deeper echoes, and the passages of time inside this space begin replaying themselves in your mind. You recall moments that once felt small, a whisper near the doorway, a glance exchanged in the kitchen, a conversation that ended a little too abruptly, and suddenly, those moments no longer feel meaningless. They come back with new weight, new depth, new significance. The presence inside your house does not announce itself, instead, it lingers softly, blending into routine, breathing in harmony with your daily life. And beside it, the woman remains poised, steady, graceful, deliberate, as if every expression is carefully chosen, every gesture calculated, every silence stitched with intention. She moves like someone who understands the rhythm of your environment more than you do, someone who has studied the patterns, traced the emotions, mapped the unseen pathways of trust. There are times when realization does not strike like lightning, instead, it arrives like a scent in the air, gradually becoming stronger until you can no longer ignore it. You start to notice how certain conversations are always held away from you, how certain discussions pause when you appear, how the atmosphere subtly shifts when you walk into the room. It is not confrontation, it is choreography. A quiet exchange of glances, a gentle nod here, a measured pause there, and the woman remains at the center of it all, guiding the flow like a silent conductor of hidden emotions. Her presence feels calm, almost reassuring, and that calmness is what makes everything feel more mysterious. Because beneath her serene tone lies something unspoken, something carefully woven, something that refuses to reveal itself too soon. The suspense grows not from noise, but from quiet precision. And as you observe, you begin to understand that the greatest twists in life rarely arrive with chaos, they arrive through familiarity, through people who appear harmless, through acts that seem ordinary yet carry meaning beneath the surface. Memory becomes your greatest guide now, replaying scenes you once dismissed, the way she lingered near certain doors, the way she carefully placed her words, the way she always seemed to be present at just the right moment. None of it felt suspicious before, but now, each moment feels like a puzzle piece finally finding its place. You recall a conversation that sounded supportive on the outside but carried a strange undertone, a gesture that appeared kind yet felt strangely rehearsed, a situation where emotion seemed guided rather than expressed. And you begin to recognize that sometimes, intention does not reveal itself through actions, it reveals itself through patterns. The unseen figure inside your house, quiet, observant, patient, seems to move closer to the center of this unfolding truth, and the woman stands beside it not by accident, but by alignment. She is not chaotic, not careless, she is exact, measured, intentional. And the air itself begins to carry a sense of anticipation, as if something hidden is slowly inching toward revelation, waiting for the moment it can no longer stay behind the curtain. Yet the story does not rush forward, it deepens. The emotional current within the house grows heavier, and the atmosphere feels layered with unsaid words and withheld feelings. You begin to sense that trust itself has been carefully studied, that every bond, every conversation, every shared memory has been observed from a quiet distance. And that awareness fills the space with a powerful kind of suspense, not fear, but awakening. You realize that what is unfolding is not merely happening around you, it is unfolding through you, through your awareness, through your growing clarity. The woman, still calm, still composed, continues to play her subtle role, speaking softly, moving gracefully, blending perfectly into every moment, and yet, beneath that serenity lies a pathway leading straight into the heart of the truth. It is not noise that reveals it, it is observation, reflection, understanding. The deeper you look, the clearer the picture becomes, like a photograph slowly sharpening in front of your eyes. And as this chapter expands, you stand in the center of a moment that feels both breathtaking and astonishing, a realization that the greatest mysteries of life do not live outside your world, but inside the spaces you thought you understood completely. The unseen presence inside your home remains silent yet undeniable, and the woman's involvement grows more defined, more purposeful, more intricately connected to everything unfolding behind the scenes. The suspense now feels alive, pulsing through every second, as if the very air around you is preparing to reveal something extraordinary, something that will not only change your perspective, but transform how you see the people, the emotions, and the quiet spaces within your own life. The journey moves deeper from here, and every moment ahead carries a revelation stronger, more powerful, and far more surprising than anything you have witnessed yet. My beloved child, the truth now begins to breathe louder, as if the very walls around you are slowly exhaling all the secrets they have been holding for so long. The air inside your home feels heavier, yet strangely clearer, as awareness settles into every silent space. You start to sense that every small incident, every unnoticed detail, every fleeting moment you once ignored has been gently leading you here. The story unfolding around you is no longer just a quiet mystery, it is a pattern, a carefully woven thread of intentions moving beneath the surface of daily life. And at the center of this pattern, the unseen presence grows more defined, more deliberate, more aware of your awakening. The woman beside it, poised, composed, and quietly intentional, continues to stand as a bridge between silence and discovery, between what is seen and what has remained hidden. She does not rush, she does not falter, she simply exists within every unfolding scene, guiding emotions, shaping conversations, moving like a shadow that knows its path with perfect grace. And as you observe her now, you begin to realize that her role is not accidental, it is chosen, placed, positioned with purpose. Moments from the past suddenly return like echoes, carrying meaning you never recognized before. You remember how she always appeared in the room just before tension began, how her voice softly redirected conversations, how her expression seemed to hover between concern and calculation. It never felt alarming, never felt suspicious, because everything she did was wrapped in warmth, in familiarity, in emotional presence. But now, through sharper clarity, you see that her gentle words were not just words, they were signals, subtle tones shaping the atmosphere around you. She watched quietly, learned deeply, understood the emotional structure of your home, and positioned herself where influence could grow silently. And near her, the unseen presence, patient, observant, calculating, found space to move unnoticed. It did not appear through noise or disturbance, it entered through trust, through comfort, through the very doors that were left open in good faith. That is where the real suspense lives, not in loud chaos, but in quiet intention that hides inside care. The environment around you begins to reveal layers of emotional alignment. Certain decisions that once felt coincidental now appear guided. Certain misunderstandings that seemed random now feel carefully redirected. There were moments when you doubted yourself without knowing why, moments when your thoughts shifted subtly, moments when your emotions felt influenced by something you could not see. And in each of those moments, the woman was present, not aggressively, not forcefully, but gently, almost invisibly. Her presence blended with empathy, with understanding, with silent companionship, making it nearly impossible to question her. Yet beneath that softness, she carried awareness, awareness of your vulnerabilities, your hopes, your uncertainties. She understood which emotions to echo, which to soften, which to amplify, and she did so with a level of precision that now feels astonishing. The unseen presence found power through that connection, through subtle alignment rather than confrontation, through carefully woven influence rather than direct intention. The deeper you look, the more undeniable the pattern becomes. Silence itself begins to feel meaningful, every pause in conversation, every delayed response, every unfinished sentence carries weight. You feel as though the house has been gently guiding you toward this realization all along, waiting for the moment your awareness would rise enough to see beneath the veil. The woman remains calm, still composed, still graceful, but now, her gentleness feels layered, her silence feels inhabited, her kindness feels strategic in ways you never noticed before. She does not appear threatening, and that is what makes everything more powerful. Because the greatest revelations are rarely loud, they arrive quietly, through people who seem irreplaceable, through actions that look harmless, through presences that feel essential to your world. The suspense now grows not because something is approaching, but because something already here is finally revealing its shape. And as this chapter unfolds, you stand in the center of a realization that feels profound and deeply transformative. Sometimes the most surprising truths live not outside your home, but inside the spaces you trust the most. The unseen presence does not feel distant anymore, it feels intertwined with your environment, woven into daily life with such subtlety that only awareness could uncover it. The woman's role becomes clearer with every passing moment, not loud, not aggressive, but intentional, aligned, and deeply connected to everything unfolding beneath the surface. The emotional landscape around you now feels charged with anticipation, as if a deeper revelation is preparing to rise, as if the shadows themselves are ready to step forward into light. What lies ahead is stronger, more intense, and more astonishing than anything yet revealed, and with each breath, you move closer to understanding the full truth hidden within your very own space. My beloved child, the truth now stands closer than ever, like a silent figure emerging from a dim corridor where shadows once ruled. The air inside your home carries a new kind of awareness, a stillness that feels thick with meaning, as if every object, every echo, every faint trace of memory has awakened to witness this moment. What once felt hidden now begins to align itself, forming a clear and undeniable shape before your eyes. The unseen presence you sensed earlier no longer feels distant, it feels near, layered, deeply woven into the very pulse of your surroundings. And beside it, the woman remains calm, poised, and quietly powerful, not reacting, not retreating, but standing exactly where she has always stood, as though she has known from the beginning that this moment would someday arrive. Her silence speaks louder now, her gestures feel sharper, and her presence feels like a key that unlocks doors you never knew existed within your own life. Memories continue to rise like waves, revealing their hidden meanings one by one. You recall how she always positioned herself at the center of emotional moments, never too visible, never too distant, always in the perfect place to influence without being questioned. Her voice once felt soothing, her words once felt supportive, but now you recognize how subtly they shaped the direction of conversations, how gently they guided thoughts, how effortlessly they redirected doubts away from where they truly belonged. It was never forceful, it was intentional. The unseen presence inside your home found its strength through that very subtlety, moving quietly through moments wrapped in familiarity. You begin to understand that what seemed harmless before was in fact a delicate arrangement of actions and silences, designed to blend into your trust so seamlessly that you would never notice its depth until now. And realizing this does not bring fear. It brings clarity, a powerful awakening that allows you to see beyond the surface of every interaction that once passed unnoticed. The house itself feels transformed, as though every corner is now illuminated by a deeper understanding. The pauses in conversations, the sudden changes in tone, the unexplained shifts in atmosphere, each of them now stands out like a marked point in time, guiding you toward the truth with unwavering precision. The woman's quiet grace now appears layered with meaning, her serenity holding secrets that were never spoken aloud. She does not reveal herself through confession, she reveals herself through presence. Through alignment. Through moments where her involvement was never obvious yet always essential. And it becomes clear that sometimes, the greatest influence does not come from loud actions, it comes from silent direction, from emotional placements so precise that they shape outcomes without ever appearing responsible for them. The unseen presence drew strength from this alignment, and together they created an environment where truth could remain hidden in plain sight. Your awareness now stands fully awakened, and with it comes a realization both astonishing and deeply transformative. The greatest revelations in life do not always arrive from outside forces, sometimes they emerge from within the very environment we trust the most. The woman, still composed, still gentle, still seemingly harmless, now appears as a central figure in this unfolding truth, not by accident but by intention. Every moment she shared, every silence she held, every carefully measured gesture now carries a resonance that echoes far beyond what you once perceived. The presence inside your home no longer feels like a distant mystery, it feels like a carefully constructed reality, one that grew quietly through familiarity, patience, and emotional precision. And standing here now, inside this powerful moment of understanding, you realize that what has been revealed is not just a hidden situation, it is a deeper awareness of how subtle human connections can shape the very foundation of your world. And as this chapter reaches its edge, the air feels charged with anticipation, as if the story itself is preparing to cross into a new threshold where nothing remains concealed anymore. The truth now stands at your doorstep, steady and undeniable, waiting to step fully into the open. The unseen presence has taken shape, the woman's intentions have moved from shadow to clarity, and the emotional landscape around you feels transformed by this awakening. What lies ahead is not just a revelation, it is a defining moment, one that holds the power to change how you perceive trust, connection, and the unseen currents that move silently through your life. The path forward grows sharper, deeper, and more powerful than ever, and the next step carries with it a truth so profound that once revealed, it will forever reshape the way you see the world within your very own walls. My beloved child, the moment before you now feels like standing at the edge of a vast and silent horizon, where every memory, every conversation, every unspoken feeling converges into one powerful realization. The air around you no longer feels uncertain, it feels deeply aware, as if your heart and your surroundings have finally synchronized into the same rhythm of truth. What once moved behind layers of silence now feels present in every breath you take. The unseen presence inside your home no longer hides in shadows, it exists openly within your understanding, no longer disguised, no longer distant. And the woman who moved with such quiet grace, such measured intention, such seamless alignment now stands fully revealed in purpose, not through confession, but through clarity. Her presence feels like the final piece of a long and intricate puzzle, one that has been assembling quietly over time, waiting for this very moment when everything would fall into place with astonishing precision. You begin to see how every subtle gesture, every carefully timed word, every soft silence carried meaning deeper than appearance. Her involvement was never chaotic, it was thoughtful, patient, meticulously aligned with emotions that were fragile, tender, and deeply human. The unseen presence beside her did not barge into your world, it grew through familiarity, through trust, through shared spaces and unguarded moments. Now, as awareness stands tall within you, you understand that nothing here was accidental. Every pause, every shift in tone, every lingering glance was part of a delicate flow of intention that shaped the energy of your environment in ways you never imagined. The realization feels profound, not because it is loud or dramatic, but because it reveals how powerfully quiet influence can exist within even the most ordinary moments of life. The house around you feels transformed, not because it has changed, but because your perception has awakened to its deeper layers. You notice how certain emotions were guided, how certain doubts were softened, how certain directions were quietly influenced without ever appearing controlled. The woman's stillness now feels like a reservoir of meaning. Every moment she stood beside the unfolding presence was part of a path that led here, to this awakening, to this recognition of how subtle intention can exist beneath kindness, beneath understanding, beneath gentle companionship. And yet, in this awareness, there is no chaos, only clarity. A powerful sense of emotional sovereignty rises within you, reminding you that understanding is strength, and that recognizing patterns does not break you, it frees you from uncertainty. The suspense that once lived in silence now transforms into insight, a deep and steady realization that gives shape to everything once hidden. This moment feels like standing within a crossroads of truth and transformation. You recognize that the greatest revelations in life are not always about confrontation. Sometimes they are about awakening to the unseen dynamics that shape our relationships, our environments, our inner worlds. The unseen presence inside your home was never loud, it existed through subtle alignments, through carefully placed emotions, through a delicate weaving of trust and influence. And the woman who walked beside it, composed, quiet, precise, was never merely present, she was pivotal, deeply connected to the unfolding of every hidden layer that has now stepped into the light. With this understanding, the emotional landscape around you no longer feels uncertain, it feels defined, steady, clear, as though every unanswered question has finally found its echo. And as this chapter deepens into its final resonance, you stand empowered within your awareness, not shaken, not fearful, but awakened to the profound truth that even within the spaces we trust the most, unseen intentions can exist in silence. The journey that once felt mysterious now feels complete in understanding, revealing how perception, observation, and emotional clarity can illuminate even the quietest corners of life. The unseen presence no longer feels hidden, it feels understood. The woman's role no longer feels uncertain, it feels unmistakably revealed. And within this powerful realization, you step forward with deeper strength, carrying a new sense of awareness that changes not just how you see your surroundings, but how you listen to the quiet currents of emotion, intention, and truth that move within your world.